Good morning. It's Monday, August 29th. We want to comment today on the Greenpeace campaign against the tuna industry. The tuna canners have made remarkable strides in meeting seafood sustainability and taking seriously their customers' concern about long-term tuna sustainability in their purchasing decisions. A couple of years ago, the majority of the purse-seine tuna industry set up the International Tuna Sustainability Foundation. This foundation now covers more than 70% of the global tuna capacity, harvesting capacity, and sales capacity. What they have done is they've started to address the root cause of issues in tuna management, which is that tuna is an internationally managed species, and most of the regional fisheries management organizations have been too weak to effectively impose harvest controls on tuna. The reason they've been too weak is that they've been intimidated by some governments so that any decision is always at the lowest common denominator. The ISSF plan is to address this at its root cause by threatening to not buy tuna from those countries who do not participate in science-based adequate fishery management. And this is a very effective threat. Now, where does Greenpeace fit in? According to the National Fisheries Institute, Greenpeace needs to raise about $700,000 a day to fund its international operations. And the tuna industry makes a big inviting target. The tuna industry in the U.S. has just begun to see sales recover after a decline due to the erroneous tuna mercury scares. Scientific opinion, including opinion at the FDA, is coming around to the idea that it's much more important to encourage people to eat healthy seafood, including tuna, than it is to pay attention to very small incidents of mercury. The public health benefit of fish consumption is just so great, it vastly outweighs any of the negative factors. Now, Greenpeace sees the tuna industry as a huge target. They've begun an international campaign from Auckland to London to the U.S. Targeting the tuna industry for bycatch. They say the tuna industry relies on wasteful fishing practices. In fact, most of Greenpeace's allegations are scientifically wrong, which is why they never give specifics, but they only use innuendo and sort of cartoon type characters to accuse the tuna pirates of overfishing. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, the tuna industry has pushed back, and in the U.S., the National Fisheries Institute has begun a campaign to try to educate the media about some of these Greenpeace distortions. Greenpeace is not going to make a difference in tuna bycatch. Tuna bycatch exists on open swimming tuna as well as fad tuna, and there's certainly a lot of problems with ramping up pole and line fisheries to supply the majority of the world's tuna, just to mention impact on forage fish and other bycatch, for example. So Greenpeace is not offering a real solution here. And curiously, they stay silent on the fact that the tuna industry itself is offering a real solution. Obviously, a target saying the tuna industry is making responsible strides towards reducing overfishing and managing bycatch on tuna in international waters, that's not going to raise a lot of money. So instead, they have a distorted, targeted campaign against the industry that doesn't seek to educate people, but seeks to obscure the real science issues behind tuna conservation. It's something that we should all be aware of. In Lexington, Mass., this is John Sackton.